Okay. Everything is going by so quickly. I can't believe we're already to our last session of the day. I hope you had fun networking. It sounds like some people check that out, the speed dating of networking. And then don't forget to go to the expo after this final session if you haven't already. There's a couple of great giveaways, so go visit our amazing sponsors and see what they're up to. Before we get started, I really love the poll. If you haven't taken a look at the poll, Kylie put some fun questions, and my favorite is you're on mute, which I've obviously done during this session today. So thanks for your kindness and grace as we work through this, all the technical difficulties that come with hosting a virtual event. So, but I have just been so energized by the sessions, what I'm hearing, and what I see from you all in the chat. It's been amazing to learn from you all as well. So for our final session, we have a keynote, and I am so excited to bring to the stage Arielle Estoria. She is a poet, author, speaker, creative, and she's going to be talking to you today about tackling imposter syndrome while empowering yourself and others. And I got a little preview of this, and I can't wait. Welcome, Arielle. There we are. Hello, welcome. Thank you.
I'm always like, am I live? Are we here? Can you hear me? Because it's technology and we really never know. But it's exciting all at the same time. I think this new wave of conversation spaces that we're in at first, I think was nerve-wracking, and we can say that, and even now finding different systems and rhythms that work because this will be live for a little bit. So as a performer and a speaker, I'm now adjusted to this virtual space. And so I still feel like there's an energy, like we're all in the same room together, which is really exciting and something that I genuinely love and appreciate. And so, hello, my name is Arielle Estoria. I am a poet, a speaker, an author, a creative, a drop down. I think a lot of other things as well. And I'm super excited to be here with you all. This is like my first pandemic keynote. Actually, no, it's not. This is like maybe my second or third now, but it's been a really fun space to prepare for these conversations, especially in settings like this. And I've been given the task to talk about the imposter syndrome. And if you don't know what the imposter syndrome is, there's this Time article that pretty much it. It's the idea that you've only succeeded due to luck and not because of your talent or your qualifications. It was first identified in 1978 by psychologists Pauline Rose Clance and Suzanne Inez. And in their paper, they theorized that women were uniquely affected by imposter syndrome, but really everyone has been affected by it. About 70% of adult human beings deal with this. I'm not enough. I don't deserve to be here. Why do I have this seat at this table? Who am I to be in this space and in this conversation? And a lot of it for me is I process most things through poetry. So in this talk, I'm going to weave a few spoken word poems in there for you so that I can help myself mostly tell the story and bring the idea together. But also it's really exciting when I just break out in the poem, and it definitely makes you pay attention again. When I was auditioning I was interviewing, and I sat in the interview, and one of the women they said, hope you don't mind an organization run by a bunch of women. And I don't know how to process things without turning it into a poem. So I turned it into a poem. Who run the world? Who run the world? Girls, girls, who run the world? Who run the world? Girls, girls. One time at the end of an interview, the director said, I hope you don't mind an organization run by a bunch of women. I told her no. In fact, I prefer it. And then I thought of all the people who would still be so shocked by the sight of that, an organization run by a bunch of women. I thought of all the people who still keep telling us to sit down, be quiet, to be content with fading into the background. But this is the end of fading into the background. This is where we take our place at the table with everyone else at the dreaming, brainstorming, creating table, because that's what we've been made to do: brainstorm, dream, create, bring into fruition, and run things. And I don't mean to get all Beyonce on you, but ladies, it's time we get information. It's time we army line into the places that tell us we don't belong there. It's time we show them these hands, the dirt under these nails, because we do the work too. It's time we create our own business plans and foundations that were made exactly for us, because that's what you do when they say something doesn't fit. You give it a home, give it a space that was made exactly for its size. But at the end of the day, this is not about them. This is not about the naysayers, those who would still cringe at the sight of our pantsuits. No, this is for the magic in your very hands that you've been too terrified to let loose because of how people will view you. Bossy, emotional, irrational, dramatic, full of herself. The only thing that you are full of is a grace and magic that you were meant to contribute to this world. There is a certain fervor to your valor. There is a certain twinge of irreplaceable in the way that you orchestrate. You are something that this world desperately needs, but has yet to see. And I, for so long, used to tie my identity in student, teacher, friend, until one day I realized that there was pieces of me hanging in the closet because I was too afraid of what they could mean. We cannot live afraid of the dreams sitting inside of us. We cannot be afraid of the little girl inside of us chasing tutus and fairy dust and urging us to pursue the things that are still bigger than you. Do not let your dreams or insecurities be bigger than you. Instead, you tell them to take a back seat, show them your hands, the dirt under your nails, because you do the work too, and then you take your place at the table. A lot of times within imposter syndrome is this conversation of, who am I? I don't deserve to be here. People are going to find me out. They're going to find out I'm just here off of luck. I'm just here off of happenstance. I don't even know why this event is not even a big deal. I'm not very successful. I feel like a total fake. There's this post that I saw this morning by Kelly Vincent, and it was like imposter syndrome thoughts, and then the next one was, how could we recant those thoughts? And so for you, I want you to sit there for a moment and think about, what are those thoughts? Those, I don't belong here. I'm not successful enough. This is not the space for me. What are those thoughts that may come up even in this conversation? That may even come up in a space where you are wondering, who am I? So I would love to see those in the comments, because this is our interactive space. And this is usually when I would call people out in the audience, and probably go down and do things that you're not supposed to do on the stage. But I don't care because I'm the keynote speaker. So if you can, put those thoughts in your comments right now. What are those imposter syndrome thoughts that you have? I feel like a fake. I don't think I belong here. For me, I'm in this interview stage for finding an assistant, a virtual assistant. And I always have this little twinge of a voice that's like, who are you to need an assistant? Who are you to need help with things? Which I think a lot of us who identify as women just deal with, because we're supposed to be the superwoman. We're supposed to be the ones who can handle it all, right? So too old to contribute. I'm only here because they think I'm pretty and friendly. Oh, wow. I got lucky. I am only here because I interview well. Oh, that one. I'm only here because I know someone. I've had an unfair advantage. Wow, they're coming in quick. So I'm not qualified. If they only knew. I'm only here because I say yes to everything. I'm only here because I know the leader, association, success by association. I'm only here to increase their female to male ratio. Or the other end of that is I'm only here so that they could have diversity on their staff. Yep, someone else just said that I'm a diversity hire. I'm not smart enough. I'm not technical enough. That's a woman's point of view, right? We have all of these thoughts that happen in our head. And as in my research of doing, like, who even deals with imposter syndrome? Yes, women and men, but two very specific people that I found. Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, y'all. He said that he was an involuntary swindler whose work did not deserve as much attention as it received. Another one who's my personal favorite, Maya Angelou. She said, I run a game on everybody and they're going to find me out. I don't know what about hearing the fact that Maya Angelou and Albert Einstein were also people who were like, they're going to figure out I'm the wizard behind the curtain. Like, they're going to figure out that these things I'm doing are not actually as special as they think, but they've been extremely legacy oriented and transformative to how our society is structured to this very day. So with that conversation, it's found that there is no threshold for success. Like, imposter syndrome can come for everyone, which is really interesting to think about. I think it also creates that awareness that we're actually not as alone in this as we may think that we are. So usually found after success is this I don't belong here mantra, right? That is said in our head. But who, besides the little voice in our own heads and maybe other people throughout our lifetime, who said that? Like, who told you that you didn't belong at the seat with your name literally written on it? Who told you that you were not qualified to be there? And the crazy part is, imposter syndrome shows up after the success. Usually not before. There's like fear and anxiety before, but the actual result of imposter syndrome itself comes after the success, as in you're already there, as in the seat has already been taken and you are embodying it. And yet there's this like, oh, I don't think I should be here. I don't feel qualified enough to be here. In addition to those two really well-known people that I mentioned before, I had the opportunity of speaking at an International Women's Day at the Google headquarters like a few years ago. And in this room was, I mean, brilliant women who work for the analytics and all the back end tech things of Facebook and Pinterest and Google itself. They work for NASA. They work for these back end systems that exist and that keeps life moving and growing. And the extent of brilliance in that room, I was there as a poet, just sheerly as a poet, and watching all these name tags that said like NASA Tech, and I had my own imposter syndrome of like, my name tag says poet, and also my part of the event was a surprise. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to all these women. I'm listening to these stories because by 3:00 that day, I had to have a poem written to share with them. And I'm listening to conversations. I'm listening to these moments. And every single time there was this same narrative, this same twinge of connectedness of just like, I'm here, but I don't feel like I belong here. I'm here, but I don't feel like I'm heard here. I'm here, but I don't think I deserve to be here. And brilliant women. So I'm sitting there in this space. I'm like, what do I tell? What poem? What type of encouragement can I give to women who have jobs and life experiences that I never will because this is not my gifting? And so by 4 o'clock that day, I got up and I said, hello, my name is Arielle Estoria. I'm a poet and I've been sitting with all of you all day long and hearing your conversations and listening to everything that's happening. And you're in these coding sessions and you're in these webinars and you're taking in all this information. And in every single conversation, there was still a common thread that you weren't enough, that you weren't smart enough or good enough or qualified enough. And yet you are probably the most brilliant group of women I've met in my lifetime up until this point. And so I've been writing a poem for you all today. And then I started to read this poem. For the makers, the doers, the shakers, who move mountains with their bare hands, with their voices, with their silence, women who move like waves and thunder all at once, women making impact, making change, women making history, women creating history. You belong here. Your presence is important. You make the world better. See, this world needs women on fire, with bravery in their spines, women who do not say sorry about being powerful or fierce or existing, instead women who claim it, making her stand taller, stronger, women who dare to have the courage to question everything and also have the answers for nothing, who are okay with, I don't know, but with enough zeal to declare, I will find out and know for certain that she will, women who will no longer bite their tongues, who will not water down their plans and insights because they feel too small for the seat that they sit in, women who no longer stay quiet, who told but instead roar from the depths of her being, women who realize the rise of the lioness within them, and like a lioness, a woman will only roar when she is trying to protect something that she worked so hard to create, be it her offspring, her sanity, her well-being, her awareness of self, her value, her worth, and everything that makes her remarkable. So darling, declare you're remarkable from the top of your lungs. Declare you're remarkable from the top of mountains you were made to climb. Declare you're remarkable as the anthem for all the reasons that you deserve to be here. Whisper you're remarkable on the days when you need to remember that you are enough, full of potential and worthy, not because of what you do, but simply because of who you are. I am remarkable because there is life in my veins, breath in my lungs, and fire in my soul. Because I have taken something out of nothing, created words for healing, and unleashed the power and potential of women in hiding. You are remarkable because your minds are a fortress for ideas, innovations, and productions that literally change the world. You are a mighty force to be reckoned with, a voice to be heard. And yes, every day you must fight for your voice, fight for your work, for your seat at the table, because you deserve to be there. But in the fight, know that you are not alone. The power of women together is a resistance in itself. It is a revolution forming from our declaration of our worthiness every single day. It is the strongest battle cry we could ever learn to repeat, to pass down to generations after us, so that we raise up women who are not afraid to climb their own mountains and yell their own declarations of, I am remarkable. I am remarkable and I deserve to be here. Maybe be a generation who raises up girls who turn into women who declare, I have a voice to create change, to fight for a new narrative, one where I am no longer the victim, one where there is no longer any more victims, because at the end of this, we will all rise, we will all stride, we will all climb, we will all build, we are all seen equally as two parts to one whole. There is no us without a we, and there is no you without a me. Society is bending at the weight of women no longer choosing to stay hidden, women who are no longer in the shadows, for when they are brought to the light, we all shine exactly as we were made to. The I am remarkable lines come from these sessions that Google does. You can be an I am remarkable trainer, which is really cool and really exciting. And during the sessions, they had us create our own I am remarkable because statements. And I didn't want these to go into your pamphlets and your journals because like copyright. So I thought I would just like speak it instead. And so I would love to hear your I am remarkable because a lot of what imposter syndrome reminds us is who we're not. And the ways that we can go about debunking and re-clarifying is to remind ourselves of all the things that we are. And so I want you to declare you're remarkable. I am remarkable because a lot of us will find this difficult because how often do we actually sit and be like, I'm the shit. I don't know if I can say that word here. Sorry. But how often are we like, I'm amazing. And here's why. Because I am able to be a mother, have a full-time job, put food on my kids' plate, and also make sure all of my employees are paid. I'm remarkable because I am a Black woman in a society that would like to see me not succeed, and yet I am succeeding. I am remarkable because I'm here, because I'm innovative, because I'm creative, because I'm insightful. When we're able to speak those things over ourselves, it pretty much is just like imposter syndrome, get out the way. I don't have time to be distracted by you because I have work to do. I really do think comparison and the imposter syndrome are kind of one and the same. They're distractions. Because if we could focus on other people and other things and what we're not, then it keeps us from doing exactly what we were put on this earth to do. So I want you to declare your I am remarkable statement. And I would love to see them if possible. I'll give you a second. I used to be a teaching artist, so I don't believe in awkward silences. I just believe in intentional pauses. So I want us to have an intentional pause really quick. And I want you to create your own I am remarkable statement. I am remarkable because I'm not an imposter. I'm an underdog. I am remarkable because I use my gifts to help people achieve meaningful goals. Yes. I'm remarkable because I care about my team in their growth and development. So good. I am remarkable because I am authentic. I am remarkable because I use my passion to help and lift others. I am remarkable because I help people heal. I am remarkable because I graduate student working in 2 male-dominated fields. Yes, I was gonna stack for that. I am remarkable because I show up time and time again. I'm remarkable because I've lived through poverty twice. Wow. I'm remarkable because I bring joy and thoughtfulness to those around me. I'm remarkable because I use my platform to help women in tech. I'm remarkable because I help people and organizations meet their potential. I'm remarkable because I seek to learn and understand in every turn, which allows me to teach others and meet them where they are. These are amazing. these are so amazing. Please feel free to keep them coming in so that you can engage with each other. Imposter syndrome is a triggered response to all the unrealistic expectations and small box perceptions we were never meant to live in. Gonna say that again, okay? Imposter syndrome is a triggered response to all the unrealistic expectations and small boxed perceptions we were never meant to live in. It's like climbing a ladder that literally there's no end goal to it. It's just exhausting and overwhelming for no reason. I think the reason is to keep us distracted. Like I said, imposter syndrome is a distractant. And I've been thinking a lot about this because in comparison is kind of similar to me with thinking about what everyone else is doing, what other people are doing. My own personal experiences is I'm an artist. So I deal with imposter syndrome quite a bit, of just like, oh, who are you to put out that song? Who are you to write that poem? Who are you to think that you could do X, Y, and Z? When I first got a modeling agent, I literally thought the email was a scam. Like I thought it was a joke. And I sent it to my mom and I was like, look at this modeling agent email I got. And I emailed back being like, oh, this is not real. And then I had a meeting. I got the agency and I texted my mom and I was like, it's not a scam. Like it wasn't a scam. Again, I had the opportunity of working with Kim Kardashian for her Skims campaign. Skims is like, shapewear. And I got the email and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Kim Kardashian's company wants to work with me. I don't even know how that's possible. I responded to the email and they're like, great, we need your decision by Thursday because we film next Tuesday. Wait, what? And so I go into this setting with all these different models and all these different women from all over the place. And I get into the room and I am there for like 6 hours before I even know what I'm doing. I thought it was just photos. And then I get into the room where it's almost my turn and it's actually a video shoot. So I'm watching the model go before me and I'm still just like, how am I here? How am I here? How am I here? And I'm trying to put these tiny little shoes on because they give us like European shoes and I have not European sized feet. And so I'm like trying to be professional and like put these little tiny heels on my feet. And then they call my name and they're like, Arielle. And I'm like, yes. I just start doing this like weird little like wobble over. And they're like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm like, how about you take them off and then come into the place? So I go to my mark and I put the little baby shoes on again. And they're like, I start hearing whispering. And it's like, oh, it's sorry, the poet. And the director says, you're the poet, right? And I was like, the poet feels a little audacious, but I am a poet, And so they were like, when we film, can you do something for us? And I was like, sure. So I start to film and I do one of my poems called This Is For You. And a part of it is, this is for the wave always comes back and the storm always calms. Yes, this is your letter on your shore, open it. I hope you read in big, bold letters. You are enough. Yes, this is for you. And you are more than enough. And then I wrap and the shoot comes out and it kind of blows up in a really awesome way. And even after that, it was still just like, how did I get here? Why did I get here? A few years ago, I attended a retreat for Lululemon. And honestly, as I'm doing this talk right now, I'm am speaking these things I don't tend to speak out loud, my own accolades, because there's a fear there, right? Especially as women, we can't speak our accolades for whatever reasons. But as I'm telling this story, and as I'm speaking to you all, I'm trying to debunk my own imposter syndrome. I never want to speak from a space of being the expert. I'm just as much as a learner, even though it says Keynote next to my name. And even that was like, oh, you're going to keynote? It never ends. And I was at this retreat for Lululemon performing and also attending. And during the retreat, there's this session where we're going in or going deep, and people are probably going to cry. People was me. And the instructor tells the story about two shoemakers showing up to this place. And in this place, no one wears shoes. So one shoemaker comes and is like, this is so exciting. Like, they don't wear shoes. Look at how much potential is here. And the other shoemaker comes and they're like, this is awful. Like, they don't wear shoes. What am I doing here? So she asked us, which shoemaker are you? It's kind of like the conversation is if the glass half full or half empty. And I said, well, my problem is not whether the glass is half full or half empty. My problem is that's not my glass anyway. So who am I to decide if it's half full or half empty? So she said, okay, so what does that mean you need to start learning to accept? I said, I guess that means I need to start believing that I'm deserving of glorious opportunities. I'm going to skip a little forward because later that year, I met my now husband. And then I'm going to go backward one more time because in that same week that I went to that Lululemon retreat, I could only stay till Wednesday because Thursday I was on a plane to go model swimsuits in Portugal for the first time in my life. And I kept having all these moments and all these experiences happening to me. And it was disarming, if you will. I was like, why are these things happening? Who am I to deserve these things? Anybody? Hello? Is this your blessing? Is this yours? I think I just wound up with it. At the end of my first date with my now husband, I guess it worked. I got home and I'm like sitting at my kitchen table, and at the time I was living with a family, and there were four almost 5 kids at the time because I couldn't afford to live anywhere else. And I'm sitting there dazed, and the dad comes in and he goes, were you just outside? Was there a guy in the car? I was like, yeah. He's like, you just had a date? I was like, yeah. And he goes, you look like you're processing. I'm gonna let you do that. I was like, okay. He leaves and comes back. And he looks at me, he says, now might be a good time to write. And then I wrote this poem. I've grown familiar with the feeling of holding out my hands, with both the expectation and the grief that I will wound up empty, the feeling that a solar eclipse only ever means darkness, and not realize that the light always comes first. See, I have this bad habit of believing that all good things that happen to me are not actually for me, that they dodged the person they were meant for and wound up in my lap by happenstance. I once attended a retreat where they asked us if the glass was half full or half empty, and I said both, but it doesn't matter because it's not my glass to begin with. She said, okay, so what does that mean you need to learn to accept? I said, I guess that means I need to believe that I am deserving of glorious opportunities. I am deserving of glorious opportunities, she repeated. She said, say it with me. I am deserving of glorious opportunities. Now say it with your hands out like you're receiving. I am deserving of glory. opportunities. I stood there with my hands outstretched and tears falling down my face. See, I am strangely aware of the fact that I am human and grace-filled, that the mediocrity of my humanity often shadows the still hint of sparkle in my dust, that yes, human and grace-filled and swimming with purpose, that there is nothing happenstance about my existence or the things that happen to me. I want to be aware of more glorious opportunities. Watch them bounce off my palms like raindrops, find them marvelous even if they disappear, because it doesn't matter for how long, at what point in time they were mine, and they were glorious. There are glorious moments, opportunities, experiences that are intricately and on purposely orchestrated as part of your story for your experience. There are moments and opportunities that will happen in your life that specifically have your name on them, because you are the qualified one, because you are the brilliant one, because you are the innovative one, because you are the creative one, because that space, that seat has always had your name on it. My favorites of favorites, Brene Brown. She says, let go of who you think you're supposed to be to embrace who you actually are. She also says, no one belongs here more than you. No one belongs here more than you. As we close out, I've been talking a lot about how I would like to debunk my own imposter syndrome. We spoke I am remarkable over us. And this, I believe, is in your sheets if you have it. I want us to talk about affirmations and intentions. Affirmations are things that we speak over ourselves, and intentions are something that we set up for ourselves. So an affirmation is something I want to speak over myself, and an intention is something I want to set up for myself. So I want you to have this time in space that you allow this speaking over and setting up to be declarations of stepping out of imposter syndrome and stepping out of this small mentality that was never shaped or meant for you to be boxed into. And allow these affirmations and intentions be things that ground and speak over you. They could be your I am remarkable statement. They could be other things. Write them on a post-it note, stick them in your fridge, in your car, on your mirror. Stick them places where when that little imposter thing tries to come and tell you otherwise, you can speak the truth back into you, who you are. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to write your own. You can put them in the chat if you want to. You can also just journal them if they're more personal. An affirmation, something you would like to speak over yourself. I am remarkable because I'm qualified, because I put in the work to be qualified. I have this seat at the table because it has my name on it and I deserve to be here. An intention, again, is something you want to set up for yourself. So you can have it be a goal, an affirmation. How do you want to set yourself up for the day, for a project, for those little moments that try to convince you that you don't deserve to be there when you absolutely do? Again, I have no problem with quiet moments. So I really do want to give you space to write these affirmations and intentions. And yeah. Am I frozen? I think I just stopped moving. She's like, oh no, she's frozen. I'm still here. When I was doing some of my research on imposter syndrome, and a lot of the questions are always like, okay, well then how do we fix it? What do we do about it? And one of the most common answers was to talk about it. And this, I mean, I hope it's been healing for all of you. But this has been extremely healing for me as well, to be able to speak it out loud. So even if you didn't, in your own space start screaming, I'm remarkable, which I highly recommend that you do, maybe later, talking about it is one of the ways that we can debunk this imposter syndrome, because a lot of it is ostracizing, right? A lot of it is just like, I'm the only one experiencing this. This is affecting me and only me, which pulls us from community, right? Which pulls us from the ability to bring it up, to talk about it with other people. And so talking about it is a way to do that, to have more conversations and be in more settings where you can have those moments. And I was watching a video about imposter syndrome and women who were experiencing it, and how they themselves got to a point where they could talk about it more and have spaces where they could express what's happening to them, and when it showed up and how it showed up, both women of color. And it was so beautiful to see the responses with people. And so I'm gonna put that link. No, sorry. I'm going to put that link in the chat for you all so that you could see it as well, because I think it's really important to hear and to listen. That because misconception is that you're alone. You are a one-person island, and you are not a one-person island. You have other people in these worlds with you who are feeling these with you at the same time, and it is necessary to talk about. And so I think it's really important that we have this where it's like for this and this reason. I'm going to close out with one last poem for you all. And this poem is one of my favorites. It was a poem that I had to write to come to terms with my own imposter syndrome. Again, it comes in waves. And this is called Magic. There's magic in your bones. There's magic in your eyes. There's magic swimming all around in your mind. There's magic in you. There's magic in me. There's magic in us. If only we believe. I am 1/3 poet. I am 2/4 perfectionist. I am imperfect, chaotic, frazzled, and indecisive. I can be moody and negative, self-deprecating and hypocritical. I advocate for the beauty and importance of everyone else, and I sometimes deny my own. I am often thinking that I won't measure up. I won't achieve any other level of success. Most days I feel like a fraud. Like people will look behind my curtain and find a mess of a woman, and they will not love me like still. I love like still, like ocean always coming back to shore, simply hoping to be loved in return. I am in love for the first time in my life, and it is terrifying and beautiful all at once. I am becoming. slowly unwinding into who I've always been meant to be. It's like meeting a distant and yet longed for piece of you that always reminded you of home. I am home. To one too many emotions, to fantasies and dreams that seem as realistic as fairy dust. I sometimes still believe in magic. Hope that it is tucked in the wings of a butterfly, or maybe in the dimples of a really chunky baby, in the colors of a sunset, or the way that he looks at me and they may call me something like foolish. 29 years old and still believing in magic. But what if the thing we're most afraid of is not that it doesn't exist, but that it's lived inside of us all this time and we called it foolish? Well, then call me foolish, because I could see it swimming in my veins. And every time I take a breath, magic tucked onto the tip of my tongue. It is no wonder why these words are sometimes the most necessary healing I've come to know. So call us foolish, because I could see it swimming in your veins. And every time you take a breath, magic tucked into your very existence, so much so that your breath is a miracle and you are a miracle. There's magic in your bones. There's magic in your eyes. There's magic swimming all around in your mind. There's magic in you. There's magic in me. There's magic in us. If only we believe. I leave you with this Marianne Williamson quote. She says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be talented, brilliant, fabulous, gorgeous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve this world. Marianne Williamson. Perhaps imposter syndrome just really shows that we actually do deserve to be there. Remember, it's an after effect to the success that has already taken place. It is an after response to the table in which you are already sitting at, which has your name on it. Maybe our deepest fear is not that we actually aren't as successful or that we don't deserve to be there, but that we do. And that's its own kind of terrifying for its own reasons, but at the same time, you do. As sweet, sweet Auntie Brene Brown says, no one belongs here more than you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I know I'm taking away a lot from that, so thank you. And I can tell from the chat people are as well.
Thank you so much.
Wow, I can't believe we are at the end of the content portion of today. Michaela is going to be joining us to do some final closing remarks on this stage, but there are still opportunities to stay. We have the event goes till 1, and we have three opportunities to stay and continue to talk and collaborate and build network with everyone that attended today. So on the left-hand side, there is the sessions button, and those are roundtables essentially. So they're set up to allow 5 people to join. So, try to fill a table, go and, meet with others, talk about what you've learned, what you may be taking away. And remember the question Tiffany asked, how are you going to take what you learned today and bring other people, women, along? And then we still have networking opportunities. So if you do the one-on-one networking, you can go there. And then while you're in that session, if both of you hit the connect button, you'll get each other's contact information after, so you can continue the conversation. And then there's still time to visit the expo. Our sponsors have been so great. So many of them joined us today and are there to answer your questions, provide offers. So make sure you go learn about them, whether that's in the expo or the workbook that Kylie sent out this week. So thank you. And I will have Michaela come on, but I would love in the chat, what is one thing you're going to take away from today? And to learn from Arielle, I will have the silent, be okay with the silence.
Okay. Another moment there, trying to get back to the backstage from the on stage. This is amazing. I've had so many chills throughout the entire event. So I'm going to walk you through a few things. And then as Sarah said, if you're able, it's going to sound like we're ending, but don't go, because we do have some great activity and interaction and other things that you can do right up until we close out at 1 o'clock. The first thing that I would love to do is if people want to just throw a word into the chat. It could be a check-in, how you're feeling right now, something you're taking away, something that inspired you, but just love to hear from people what's going on in your heads and how you're feeling right now. I am not seeing the chat yet, but I'm trying. Let's see.
Yeah, people are saying full, inspired, transcended, grateful, energized. So many.
Love it. Okay. Thank you. I don't know why I can't see it, but thank you, Sarah, for reading. So Kylie's coming to help me. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Just hit stage.
Okay, I'm masking. I wanted to wear my mask at some point today.
Perfect.
Oh, there. Thank you.
Of course.
Too many tabs. Grateful, blessed, open, committed, invigorated. Oh, so good. Supported. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Me too. I'm energized, inspired, all the things actually that we were hoping for as part of this event. So that is fabulous. Gosh, I was going to share some takeaways. I think what's really hard is that my takeaway notes are like to repeat everything that everybody said throughout the entire summit, but let me capture just a few. Going back to the panel, I think this real importance of self-care and how different self-care looks. Like, I think previously a lot of us thought of self-care as, maybe it was one of these big experiences, like I'm going to go get a massage or I'm going to go to the spa. Today, self-care looks a lot more like what I would call some really simple pleasures. We talked about go for a walk, read a book, get some alone time, cook or bake with your kids, and the importance of getting out into nature. I think those are so important, and I would second all of those. Those are exactly all the things that I've been doing, just to get downtime, to decompress and to re-energize. And I would encourage people to really pay attention to those things right now and just be very intentional in terms of how you're taking care of yourself. Loved Mala's idea about the zero-based life. I also heard a lot of people saying, hey, there's relationships that we're in that aren't adding value, don't feel authentic anymore. Years ago, I read some of the work by Adam Grant about givers and takers. And I realized, these people that I don't feel good around are takers. Like, they only reach out when they want or need something from me, but there doesn't feel like there's any other camaraderie. And I made a personal choice not to spend time with those individuals anymore. And I can tell you it feels great, right? And you let go of that sense of obligation. It frees up a lot of other time and energy. Arielle had so much, and she's fresh in our minds. So, I just saw the resonance around I'm remarkable because, and what's my intention? What's my affirmation? So really holding on to that. And, I guess for me, the last kind of overarching comments were giving yourselves and others grace. I feel like we've all gotten so good at that. I'll just use today's technology as an example. I can think of companies I have worked in where people would have lost it over the glitches and the pauses and the echoing and the muting, and everyone's just like, hey, hashtag 2020. Like this is normal. We just need to embrace this. I think we all take our temperature down when we respond that way. And so I encourage us to remember those as the silver linings, even when COVID is over and behind us. And we'll get through this. And then that Michelle Obama quote, which I had not heard before, but I'm going to go watch the video of planning your joy. So we're going to move into a quick video. I haven't seen this yet, but we are going to get to do a breathing exercise. And then that's going to be a great transition as we start to wrap up.
You've had an opportunity to listen to many amazing women, to receive guidance, to benefit from wisdom that's been shared. So give yourself these next few moments. Be still. If you're in a good place, feel for either your feet grounded or your body supported by either a chair or the ground below. Empty out your lungs. Take in a deep breath. And now let it go. Take in another deep breath. Feel for space around your heart. As you exhale, relax your shoulders away from your ears. And if it feels comfortable, either choose to close your eyes or to focus on one still spot. Allowing your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Connect to a quality of energy that you wish to embody. Peace, harmony, acceptance, empowered, just to name some qualities of energy. And so now consider that quality of energy, not only that feeling within, but how you can incorporate it throughout your day. With every message you send, phone number you dial, person you greet. Take these next few moments for yourself. As you take this next breath in, I want to remind you, you are stronger than you think. And you have many gifts, many talents to share. Don't hesitate to share them with the world. Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone, I hope that helped you end this part of the conference or summit. And then please stay. We're on until 1. As I mentioned, there's sessions, there's networking, and there's the expo. And I just really want to thank you for spending the time this morning, staying with us, listening to all these amazing speakers. I know I'm reinvigorated and ready for the fall and the winter. So thanks again. And I look forward to seeing you in networking. Thanks.